I'm going to go to Washington now and talk to Jacob. Hey, Jacob, thanks for the phone call. Are you in Washington State or Washington, D.C.?
Washington State.
Washington State. Well, here's what I want to say to you, Jacob. I'm listening.
Well, I've actually had problems over the years with pulling muscles. I play a lot of sports, and I've been taking the longevity products since January. I feel great, but I still get on the field. I do my stretches. I do everything that you're supposed to do, but I keep pulling muscles, and it's all my legs. Arm strength came back from taking the products. Do you have any ideas what could be causing that?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's not rocket science, right? So the deal here is that we want to provide your muscles with more support because you're pulling the muscle, right? Mm-hmm. So the muscle, the ligament, the tendon, and the bone, interestingly enough, is more or less the same tissue, just different densities of the same tissue, kind of like, water can exist as a liquid, as water, as steam, or as ice, right? Very different forms, but it's the same stuff when you drill it right down to the fundamental basics. So the muscles here are a weak link in your chain for whatever reason. God only knows why the muscles are the weak link in your chain, but they appear to be, right? So what we need to do is just give your muscles more nutritional support. And muscles, of course, are made out of protein. And so when we're attempting to support and promote the structure and function of muscle tissue, muscle fiber, then we do amino acids, because proteins are made from amino acids. That's all that a protein is. I don't care what kind of protein it is, if it's a fish protein, a chicken protein, a peanut protein. A protein is a long chain of amino acids, and it's the stomach's job to chop up the bonds between the amino acids, liberating the amino acids. Well, longevity has gone one step further than that, and we have an amino acid supplement. It's already digested out. It's just stacked amino acids that your muscles can then use in order to support and promote their structure and function. The name of that product is HGH Youth Complex. HGH Youth Complex. Don't worry, it's got nothing to do with human growth hormone. I think it's a stupid name. I don't know why they named it that. Everybody gets all up in arms. Oh, Dr. Glidden, you're recommending human growth hormone. No, I'm not. It's just the name given to that product by the manufacturer. I don't know why. Probably to sell more, right? But the product, nonetheless, HGH Youth Complex, I believe it's a Super Life product. Anyway, it's in the longevity catalog. And nobody knows the dosage of that. It's impossible to overdose that. Well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, you probably have 500 bottles a day and you'd overdose, right? But inside of reason of 1 bottle or 2 bottles a month should be a good thing to do. And the next thing is to do ligament and tendon support, right? Ligament and tendon support. Now that we've got the muscle tissue handled, we want to give ligaments and tendons more support, and we do that with the gluco-gel. Now, when it comes to gluco-gel, you have 2 options. You can do the gluco-gel capsules. The recommendation there for optimal support is 1 cap per 10 pounds of body weight per day. So if you're 180 pounds, 180 divided by 10, that's 18. You need 18 caps a day of the gluco-gel capsules. That's, 6 with breakfast, 6 with lunch, 6 with dinner. You can also do the liquid gluco-gel, and if you go that route, the recommendation would be liquid gluco-gel plus. That's the most recent product, the gluco-gel plus in a liquid form. And that dosage is recommended at 1 bottle per 50 pounds of body weight per day. So, if you're 180 pounds, we'd bump that up to 200, and you do 4 bottles a month, 4 bottles of gluco-gel plus liquid a month. If you mess around with the HGH Youth Complex and more gluco-gel, you're going to support and promote your ligaments, tendons, and muscles, and then that should eliminate the problem. But all of this, right, begs the question, Jacob. It begs the question, have you eliminated the 10 bad foods? Have you gone that far yet?
Absolutely, yeah, I did. I've eliminated that probably about 4 or 5 months ago. You can't eliminate all of it, but most of it at least.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. So let's have a conversation here about that. How old are you? And when you eliminated those foods, did you notice a difference? What was that like for you, and how did it make you feel?
I'm 40 years old, and I feel great. My body weight's down. I've slimmed out, and just feel amazing. I mean, the transformation's great. I had heart palpitations; they're gone. I had eczema; it's mostly gone. It just feels amazing.
Yeah, it's a remarkable transition, isn't it? I mean, and just imagine, right? What would have happened had you not gotten a clue about what we're up to, right? Because all of the stuff that was bothering you before you found us were results of chronic consumption of all the wrong food and not enough nutrients, and that is just like a train headed over a cliff. You know, might not get to the cliff for 5, 10, 15, or 20 years, but it's going to go over the cliff, because nutritional deficiency diseases and diseases which are driven by pro-inflammatory foods get worse. They don't get better. They get worse. They don't get better. So, you know, you were looking at a lifetime of more and more and more pain and suffering. You've nipped that in the bud, and now we just have to tweak around with, you know, strengthening the muscle, man, and that's a good thing. Now, you know, about 6 weeks ago, I was in France on vacation, and I'd been gluten-free, I think, really strict for 3.5, 4 years. And I caved when I was in France because we were we were invited to a guy's house. We were guests at this guy's house. He put out this big spread of lunch for us. And when the French eat lunch, man, it's like a 5-course deal, right? And every single course he served had French bread. So it was the first time in probably 4 years, let's say 3.5 years, be conservative, that I've had any gluten whatsoever. I had 3 pieces of French bread, and for the next week, I was in the bathroom every hour. I felt like I had the flu. I mean, it hit me hard. It hit me bad. Have you had any similar experience? I mean, have you fallen off of the wagon with pizza or with bagels or anything? And what's your experience been when you've done that?
Very, very rarely, but when I do, I just feel horrible. I'm tired. Your stool's not regular. Yeah, it's not a good thing. It definitely is not a good thing.
Yeah, and right, it's not. And you feel a noticeable difference. The longer, and believe me, man, the longer you're on the good food train, when you fall off of it, you get hammered. I mean, you get pummeled and hammered because your body really responds to the good stuff, and it really, really responds to the bad stuff as you go down the road.